Khamzat Chimaev will destroy Dricus Du Plessis. He can beat Dricus in multiple ways. He doesn't have to win in the first or second round like most people say. Now I do think he will get the win in the first two rounds. Chimaev will get Dricus on the ground, there's no question about it. It may get Khamzat tired, but so will Dricus. He can't just lay on his back without exerting much energy and just wait for the later rounds. It is going to take every ounce of energy out of him to avoid getting finished. We talk about Chimaev as if he can't fight in the later rounds, but he won round 3 against Gilbert Burns after he took the hardest punch of his career at the end of round 2. Now there's an argument he lost both rounds 2 and 3 against Usman, but he did take him down even in round 3. I think Khamzat is just a nightmare matchup for Dricus as he is for a lot of fighters. DDP's sloppiness feels like has actually helped him so far. Guys can't get a read on him and his awkward style mixed with his power and durability has made him difficult to fight. But that sloppiness will get punished by Khamzat. If Dricus moves the way he usually does, I don't think it's going to be very hard for Chimaev to take him down. Of course, I think Khamzat will take him down in the first 2 rounds, but I don't think it's going to be very hard for him to take down in the later rounds either. The way Dricus moves falling over himself and charging forward, it might be an easy takedown for Khamzat. Usman got 10-8'd by Khamzat in the first round. I understand it was up a weight class and on short notice for Usman, but who does that to Usman? If he can do that to Kamaru, he can do it to Dricus as well. I also want to see Khamzat and Dricus at the face-offs. I want to see the size difference between the two. They're both big guys, but I think Khamzat is the more physical fighter, which has almost never been the case in a DDP fight. When has Dricus' opponent been more physical than him? I don't care how many takedowns Dricus has defended in his gym, he just hasn't seen anything like this. And like I was talking about earlier, I don't even think Khamzat needs to finish early to win. I feel confident that Khamzat wins the first 2 rounds. This means he would just need 1 out of the final 3 rounds without getting finished, which I think is extremely likely. He can get control time and some strikes off in one of those rounds easily. Unlike what many people think, I think Khamzat has multiple ways to win. I think he could submit DDP in the first 2 rounds, win via ground and pound in the first 2 rounds. If it goes past the first 2 rounds, I don't think it's shocking if Khamzat knocks him out or even wins a decision. He has power in his hands. I think the notion that Khamzat better win in the first 2 rounds or otherwise he's screwed is just not true at all. He has more ways to win in my opinion than Dricus does. I don't think Dricus can win a decision against Khamzat because of the hole he will be in after the first 2 rounds. He's not Merab, where he can climb out of that hole and come back to win the fight after Umar won the first 2 rounds. Dricus has to knock him out. And with this awkward striking that works against other fighters, it's just going to cause DDP to be out of position, and Khamzat is going to capitalize and get easy takedowns, even if he's tired at that point. Also, I think Khamzat's striking can be effective in this fight as well. Khabib basically told him to just box with Dricus, and I don't think it's necessarily the worst advice, but it's also not something I would advise. Khabib is obviously saying this because of Khamzat gassing out in his fights, but I'm not worried about his cardio in this fight. That may be wishful thinking on my part, but from everything I'm seeing, he's putting his all into having great cardio for this fight. I think it's the guy who used to work with TJ Dillashaw that he's working with. We know what TJ did to have some improved cardio, so I hope it's not that. But no, really, he is putting his all into this training camp from what I've seen. And another point is that I think there's been legitimate reasons for why he's looked fatigued in his past fights. The Gilbert fight, I think was more so him just eating big shots and getting rocked and just taking a beating. I think that caused him to be tired. While the Kamaru fight may have been more so because of an injury he got in the fight. And once again, he still took down Kamaru in the 3rd round. He may not be a better striker than DDP, but he's a more technical boxer with pop in his shots. The threat of the takedown will always be there, and I think he'll be able to get some good shots off if this fight goes into the later rounds. Like I said, Dricus doesn't exactly have the best cardio ever. He's extremely tough and he pushes through, but he looks tired in a lot of his fights. And getting taken down by Khamzat and having to put all his energy into not getting finished early in the fight is actually going to take more out of him than it is going to take out of Khamzat. So I wouldn't deviate from what Chimaev usually does. Don't change the game plan from what got you here. I don't mind Khamzat striking with Dricus, but only if Dricus is able to survive the first 2 rounds. I'm not coming out from the jump and just solely striking. Just look at what Khamzat did to Whitaker. Whitaker still got it, and he can give the top guys a tough fight still. He can win still. I mean, he almost beat Reinier de Ridder. Almost knocked him out, and he even almost won on points. I personally gave it to RDR, but Whitaker had an argument. Also, I've noticed a lot of the guys who talk about sparring with Khamzat or grappling with him, they all get messed up by him. Does it not seem like that? It feels like everybody that trained with him got ragdolled. Khamzat Chimaev is generational, and I think after the fight is over, people will feel dumb about doubting him in the first place. I'm picking Khamzat to submit Dricus in round number 1. A part of me doesn't want the fight to play out like that just because of how anticipated this fight is, and it resulting in a first round finish would be a little anticlimactic, but it's what I think is going to happen. He gets Dricus down, and while getting some good ground and pound shots off, he manages to get his back and chokes him out to become the middleweight champ. Also, as far as what will be better for the division, let's not overthink it. Khamzat winning would be great for the division. Dricus is an entertaining fighter with his awkward style, but Khamzat would be one of the most entertaining champions of all time. I understand the concern about him not being active, but I think being champion would force him to fight a lot more. And 2 fights a year, I think that's doable for Khamzat, and that's all I want. 2 fights a year. Chimaev versus Imavov, Strickland, Kaio, Adesanya, RDR, Paulo Costa just because of their beef. I can't wait for some of these matchups. This is the fight that I've been looking forward to the most this year, and I think Khamzat Chimaev will show levels against Dricus Du Plessis.